Last time, an old friend of Jonah's came to him with a dilemma. He's a high official in the Chinese government, but someone is moving against him and resurrecting some criminal charges related to his time as a spy during World War II. He met with 3 American Marines who wanted to buy information. When he refused and walked away, someone stole the money that was supposed to go to him and killed the man who was liaison between them. 2 of the Marines are unavailable, and the 3rd one changed his name and became a professor at the university. He really doesn't want all that stuff dragged up again, but Peter is nothing if not relentless.
I know this is hard for you, sir, and what you said before is true. I am invading your privacy, but
I am not interested in anything that you have to say.
I just thought that if you knew that a man's career, I mean his whole life, was at stake, that you might be willing to cooperate.
You thought wrong, Mr. Parker.
Now, I'm not trying to blackmail you.
Goodbye, Mr. Parker.
Wait just a minute.
You don't leave me
I
alone.
happen to know that you stole the $10,000. I also know that you killed the Chinese school teacher. I know that you were court-martialed, that you spent 2 years in jail, and that you received a dishonorable discharge.
Peter also knows that with his spider strength, if the professor does hit him, it won't do much. The professor isn't thinking about hitting him, though. He wants to straighten Peter out.
You have got to help me. I mean, you just have to help me.
That's ironic. That's very ironic.
What? What is?
Those are the exact words I said to my buddy back in China.
Translation? He was railroaded. He didn't do any of it, but he wound up taking the rap for it.
My buddy, Blue Stemple, stole the money and shot the teacher. Oh, he planted some of the money in my belongings. Just enough so they made a case against me.
Too bad Stemple is the one who's dead. If he had been the guy in the ICU, it would have messed up the whole plot. But Dent says, I do have proof for all the good it does me now.
Before Lou Stemple died, he sent me a letter. He was a religious man, it seemed. In the letter, he confessed that he killed the teacher and stole the money. Asked my forgiveness. I even wrote him back, forgiving him.
I'm pretty sure we're supposed to assume Stemple became religious after the events in China, and since he died in an accident, it doesn't sound like a deathbed confession. It should carry some weight if he gets it into the right hands.
You know, he sent a photograph of the teacher and his wife and kids. For some reason, Stemple kept it. God knows why.
Well, if you have the letter and a photograph, and with your testimony, you just might be able to help Mr. Min.
There's more to it than that, but Peter is wisely letting Dent roll that over in his own head.
And will you try?
If the Chinese would believe neither Min nor I killed the teacher, then maybe, just maybe, the Marine Corps would believe it too.
That's what Peter is telling you, Professor. You can clear your own name and keep another innocent man from going through what you did. He has nothing to lose, so let's go do this. He may or may not get the chance. That guy sitting behind him is one of Zeider's men.
So, the newspaper photographer and Min's niece are coming to Hong Kong with that ex-Marine. I don't see what you're so upset about. Min is dead. That's what I was supposed to do, wasn't it? See that he never returned from New York alive.
Hey, you want I should dig up some bones for you? Anything you say, Spike. Because you and me is pals. That's right, ain't it, Spike?
Well, okay. He died of a heart attack instead of a bullet in the head, but he's dead. That's what you wanted. That's what you've got.
It's too bad Evans didn't do a little more follow-up on the story. Zider did. He wants to know why they would still be coming here.
Well, to clear his name, so that the ex-Marine can testify to clear Min's name. Very good, Mr. Evans. Why would that be important to Min, inasmuch as he is dead? I guess it's the Chinese thing about honor and keeping one's name clean for the ancestors and What are you laughing at?
He's laughing at your ignorance, Mr. Evans. That's what he's laughing at.
Here's the thing. When a foreign national dies on U.S. soil, the first thing the body gets buried in is red tape. especially when the person was from a possibly hostile country like China. The whole bureaucracy kicks into motion to follow a kabillion protocols in order to get the body back to its own land. Depending on the situation and what the spies find surrounding the dead person, the process can take months.
The photographer works on flat paper. Photographer. Han Min's niece and an ex-Marine are coming to China to vindicate Min. And then, Mr. Evans, Min Lo Chan will mysteriously return from the dead and take over as Minister of Industrial Development, and I will lose the contract to build the steel mill.
He says that like it's a bad thing. How many substandard materials would he use so he can grub a few extra coins for himself?
I made some inquiries. There was no funeral. The body was not returned to China. You have been had, Mr. Evans. Min Lo Chan's about as dead as you are.
In fact, you may be a bit deader. He says get rid of them, make it look like an accident, and don't fail this time or else. He and Zeider's other man Chung there will work together to get this done.
I'm going to pick the Kung Fu men myself.
They're my men. I'll pick them.
My life depends on this gig coming off right. And I'm going to make sure that we get guys that kill first and think later.
Ain't cooperation wonderful to behold?
That's me. 我係 Emily Lutal. 唔該啊. We are to meet my uncle's cousin at a nearby temple.
Now, wait just a minute. Now, your uncle didn't say anything about meeting anybody anywhere.
It must have been an afterthought. Peter, you're too suspicious. We're in Hong Kong, not New York City.
She's right, Peter.
Armed men broke into her place intending to kill her uncle, and she says Peter is too suspicious. Is her uncle prone to afterthoughts? Who's the friend? What's their name? After everything that's happened, she's buying this? There's some kind of ceremony going on at the temple, and we spend a lot of time watching and listening to it.
He's a famous general from ancient Chinese history, General Hung, the tamer of dragons.
Beautiful.
Hi，我係廖士登，係你表哥，好歡迎你哋嚟香港。
唔該晒你，機會嚟啦。
He's identifying himself as Min's cousin. To prove who he is, he has a Polaroid of Emily that he says Min sent him along with a letter a few days ago.
而家我明啦。
我怕要後日咧先至可以陪阿教授去過境。關於入境手續咧，都要相當時間先可以搞得掂嘅。
There will be a 2-day delay before you can be taken across the border. It's red tape.
Well, the first time I've ever been delighted about red tape. Now there's time to see Hong Kong again.
Peter isn't crazy about the tourist idea, but Dent isn't going to take orders from anybody. Hong Kong was still a British holding at the time, so trying to cross from there into China proper could take a little time.
These two men will keep us company for the next 2 days and keep us from harm. Thank you.
You're sure about that? Chung and another man are following them. On a transport boat, Dent says it's mind-boggling how much this place has changed. Tomorrow we're going sightseeing. That's the best news Chung has heard all day.
They still come out here every morning, just like they did. Graceful, isn't it?
It's a lot prettier than jogging.
I wish I knew how to shadow box.
Tai Chi is a discipline all its own. Emily called it shadow boxing, which is kinda sorta what the name means. Every so often I've toyed with the idea of learning some because I suspect that careful, controlled motions would help some of my physical issues. All I need to do is come up with the time to invest in one more thing, as if I don't have enough one more things going already. They take us all over the city, showing us what 70s Hong Kong was like, but it's all preliminary. There's one place Dent really wants to go.
The Aberdeen Street Market.
Afterwards, I think we should go right back to the hotel. I really think we need the rest.
I vote for that.
Okay, it's a deal.
If you've ever been to a good-sized farmer's market, or better yet, if you've ever been to some place like Pike's Place Market in Seattle, you have a sampling of the Aberdeen Street Market. This place isn't even controlled chaos, it's just chaos. And by the way, the white woman taking pictures is one of Chung's spies, so they know where our group is going, and it's perfect for their purposes. Peter tends to agree.
I don't know, Mr. Fleming. It looks like it would sure be easy for us to get separated in there.
Nothing to worry about, I tell you.
No, I guess you're right. I worry too much.
When the three of them start trying to elbow their way through that crowd, I think we're going to find out that Peter worries just the right amount, while Dent/Fleming doesn't worry enough.
Here we have some fabrics, all of them just absolutely gorgeous. Beautiful fabrics.
Get back to the hotel.
The two bodyguards are outnumbered 3-1. They can't stop the kidnapping. But Spider-Man saw the boat they're taking Fleming on. I know he had to grab whatever was handy, but this boat isn't the best. Either it just burned something out in the gearbox, or the propeller is fouled with seaweed. In any case, he's not moving. The bad guys can see that. Sorry, boys, spider sandwiches are not on the menu today. They got away with Fleming. Evans is planning to take him to a farm in the New Territories, which consists of the northern part of the Hong Kong Protectorate between Kowloon and the Chinese border. Put him in a nice anonymous grave there, and that's that. Good thing Peter put that tracker on him.
Oh, good. I'm glad it made this edition.
This should help.
Yeah, well, along with these posters, maybe the police now can get some leads. Taxi! Will you take us to the Wan Chai helicopter pad, please?
Plastering his face all over the region should help too. Peter and Emily charter a helicopter to search the area for the tracking device. The beeper only has a range of half a mile, so this could take a while. Just the two cities cover about 18 square miles, and that's not counting the New Territories. Down on the ground, Evans just noticed the posters.
We've got a problem. Yeah, I know about the newspapers. But the police have posters of Fleming all over the place. They're all over the walls here in Fanling. We could have been seen. I don't like it. Okay. I'll wait for your call.
If you had been spotted, I suspect the police would already be there. Up in the sky, Peter's tracker has gone off like a slot machine.
Must be down in one of those farmhouses. You better find a place to set this thing down.
Peter!
Look, Emily, I've got this whole thing figured out.
What does he mean by that? We won't find out. But if he's going to get down there and rescue Fleming, he'd better hurry.
We're moving him to a junk at Aberdeen.
How are we going to get him out without being seen?
There was a couple of wooden crates outside that store where you bought the beer.
Yes?
Go get one. We'll put him in that.
Peter has a better idea what he's walking into this time, so he'll want some backup.
We'll stay in touch on these. The pilot will show you how to use it.
Okay, but shouldn't we tell the police?
No! There isn't any time!
You look Chinese if you don't show your face.
Yeah, I know. That's the whole idea.
To use military terms, she'll provide overwatch. That's good because Peter is right on top of the signal, but he can't find Fleming or anybody else.
Emily, something strange is going on here. The signal seems to be getting weaker.
Really? The graduate student in physics can't figure out that if it was strong and then one moving object went by and it started getting weaker, it's probably in that moving object. Emily will have to explain to him that that white van is the only possible culprit. I'm going to suggest that the hat is too tight and it's cutting off his thinks. Back to the chopper and follow the van. The pilot says the road they're on leads to a certain restaurant. It's nice they waved to those guys on the roof. Now Spider-Man knows what to do first. At this late point in the series, Peter finally figured out that webbing these guys up is a lot quicker and easier than fighting them. Probably not as much fun, but he's racing the clock. No time for fun. There's no time for a nap either, so why did he stand there like a target and let him do that? A random boat fishes him out and Emily oversees taking him to a doctor. This doctor uses acupuncture, but to use it he has to access Spider-Man's skin.
我相信我可以有辦法同佢解毒。
真係好彩啦！
Yep, that's skin all right. Our doctor is veteran character actor George Chung. I spent 15 minutes scrolling through his credits and suddenly realized I hadn't even gotten out of the 2000s yet. That's mind-boggling considering he's been at this since 1975. How he found the time to do all those roles, I don't know. He's yet another of those solid actors who doesn't quite get the name recognition he deserves, but any appearance he makes will still have you saying, "Oh yeah, it's that one guy that I saw in that other thing." That's something, I suppose. Another needle or two and Peter awakens.
Emily?
Oh, Peter. Thank goodness you're all right. I feel like such a fool calling you a coward like I did. I didn't realize you were Spider-Man.
That's kind of by design, Emily. But he doesn't care about that. Even though the doctor says he should rest, whoever follows that advice in a TV show? He wants to know where they took Fleming.
We followed them to the Connaught Tower. They took him in that wooden crate.
Okay. Tell the doctor to please remove the needles.
佢用你落氣啲針。
好啦。
I'm going to take a wild guess that that translates to "you're an idiot." Oh, and that tower she mentioned where they took the professor? Take a guess what's there.
Have you lost your mind?
It was the only thing I could think to do.
So you brought him here. To my office.
Spider-Man attacked us at the Aberdeen Harbor. We stopped him, but it created a lot of attention. Too many people. I didn't know where else to bring him.
It's Sunday, so there's nobody in the building but janitors, and they brought Fleming in inside that crate, so nobody's suspicious. Zider isn't very happy with his right-hand nitwit at the moment. He says, "We'll wait until dark and then we'll move him." I think the guy on the wall has different plans. That sure looks real, and once again I find myself wondering what kinds of hoops they had to jump through to get permission to do it. It's easy to see that the show spared no expense to get these stunts just right. And that seems to be what killed the show, because suddenly somebody got cheap. But we'll deal with that later. For now, we'll just enjoy these incredible visuals. Okay, Fred, now you're just showing off. I can't blame you a bit. How many stuntmen ever get the chance to do that? The beeper is telling him that the top floor is the right one. Now he just needs to find the right room. That'll be easier to do from the roof than from the wall. We're pulling everything out of our bag of tricks for this final episode. He's using the web a lot more than he has before. We have that scene on the building. Someone learned his identity. It's all here, and I'm loving it. Now to find the right office. Or not. Interruptions, interruptions. How's a spider supposed to get anything done under these conditions? A quick shot of web juice takes care of him, and he's back on the trail. According to his tracker, not to mention my own basic principle of follow the bad guys, this is the place. You've heard of eider down? That there is a Zider down. And he's down in more than one way. He'll be going to prison for a very long time, and there goes his empire and all his bikini-clad girls. How the mighty have fallen.
How can I ever thank you for clearing my uncle?
I was happy to be able to do it.
There's also the fact that this is giving him a chance to clear his own name and stop having to live a lie.
So, my secret is safe with you?
Of course. I won't tell anyone that you're Spider-Man.
Louder, they didn't hear you at the ticket counter.
Anyway, I won't have anyone to tell. I've decided I should stay here and learn what it means to be Chinese.
Yeah, I can understand that. But I'll miss you.
Yes, he did it. He fell for Emily. I'm glad he took my advice. Now I'm torn three ways for Peter, because while I really think he should try to marry Rita, Julie is a good match too. And now I want him to take a look at Emily.
Will you ever come back to Hong Kong?
Well, I have a reason to now.
Good enough, Peter. You finally know how to kiss a girl. Now go home and practice some more with Rita. We hear the final call for Peter's flight, and the two of them walk off into the closing credits. What a series finale. We had so few episodes, but Nicholas Hammond is Peter Parker. And could there ever be a more convincing Spider-Man than Fred Waugh? This had to be the job of a lifetime for him. The cast was perfect. The stories were engaging. The effects were state-of-the-art and then some. And from what I've found, the only thing that brought it down was good old money. That happens when the people in charge are business-oriented rather than artists. Art is a lot like healthcare. It's not a business, it's a service. The moment you inject profit motive into either one, the service suffers. With art, expression takes a back seat to what'll sell. We've seen countless shows that were well done and reasonably popular, but because ratings didn't generate enough income, they were canceled. Heaven forbid we take the long view and foresee the show in syndication and all that. We want our money and we want it right now. But the fact that we had so few episodes and they were so widely spread out tells me somebody wasn't all that committed to the project in the first place. And it's a rotten shame because the cast and crew gave the show everything they had. Even though she came in late, Ellen Brie made Julie a real person. Robert F. Simon was the most convincing Jonah Jameson I ever saw until J.K. Simmons came along. Chip Fields obviously captured my heart as wisecracking Rita the faithful friend. And as I said, Nicholas Hammond is Peter Parker. I found him more convincing than Tobey Maguire or any of the other live-action guys. He had that indefinable something that made him be the character. I don't know what that something is, but I haven't seen it since. Special thanks to Fred Waugh, the definitive Spider-Man. I can't think of a higher compliment to give him. Thanks for joining me on this trip. I hope you had as much fun as I did. I'll be taking a little break, and when I come back, we'll be sticking with Spider-Man. I've decided to go chronologically down the line of Spider-Man media for a while. The next series will be a little different in that I'll be working with subtitles. Why? Just as this series was wrapping up, a studio in Japan decided to put their own spin on our hero. So stay tuned, this is going to be fun. Remember to like this video if you did indeed like it, and subscribe if you haven't already because you don't want to miss what's coming. You can also leave a comment telling me what you thought of the video and the series. If you'd like even more content, for $2 a month you can become a Patreon subscriber and see my take on shows like It's About Time and Hogan's Heroes. Something is always happening here at Irving Zoo, so come back soon and come back often. Until next time. From a Man Chung there will one moving that's mind gobbling roof than from the wall that already everything they had. What was that?